Good day and welcome back to another fountain pen review, and today we are going vintage again with this Sheaffer Balance from around the 1930s, very early 30s. This pen was a pretty new design at the time because all pens up to this point were very cylindrical, as you can see by this Waterman 52. Here's a Wahl Eversharp from the early 1920s, and of course the very classic Parker Duofold Senior from mid-1920s-ish. This design was extraordinary and very revolutionary. It brought along the streamlined craze for fountain pens. With this new pen, Sheaffer got the jump on virtually all of its competitors by introducing a radical departure in pen design. All of a sudden, new pens were attractively streamlined with smooth tapered ends, as you can see here. The new pen's excellent ergonomic design set a new standard for writing ease and comfort. The Sheaffer Balance is actually a very light pen. Even with its lightweight design, Sheaffer concentrated all of the weight of the pen to the grip section and nib. What this did was, even when you posted it, it made the pen feel balanced. And if I balance it, you'll notice that the pivot point is between the barrel and the cap when posted. Just for reference, here's the pivot point for a Waterman 52 posted. And again, here's another reference. Here's a Parker Duofold, and here's the balance point. Now, I must admit, I'm not the biggest fan of Sheaffers. I prefer old vintage Watermans and Parkers, but I need to give them credit where credit's due. Sheaffers are some of the most reliable fountain pens that you can get your hands on. Now, in terms of the model of this pen, I haven't found it specifically, but I think it's the smaller version of this one right here. This is a white dot Sheaffer in gray and red vein celluloid, I believe. It could be plastic, I'm not entirely sure. And if we look down over here, this is the Sheaffer Lifetime white dot, gray, pearl, and red veining, gold fill trim, which this one isn't. Lever filler, short humped clip. This Sheaffer in particular does not have a white dot, so this I suspect might be the lower end model. The Sheaffer white dot is kind of like the Parker blue diamond. It's a symbol of quality. That's not to say this is a bad pen. This is a really excellent pen. Speaking of the pen, let's go ahead and take a look. As mentioned, you have this very pointy, almost missile-like top of the cap. You have the Sheaffer's clip, which is actually rather tight. On the clip it says Sheaffer's in their old font, whereas the more modern font that they use is a little bit more rounded and organic. You can see the gray celluloid and the red veins that run through the pen, which have a really nice contrast. It has a very basic cap band right here, which has a little bit of brassing on there, but that's okay. The barrel is straight, and then right where it meets the lever, it starts to taper down. And as you can see, the imprint reads W.A. Sheaffer Pen Company, Fort Madison, Iowa, USA, patented. Now, this is actually the patent itself. This is not a patent date. If you actually go ahead and punch in the patent date, it's D-78795. If you go ahead and punch that into Google Patents, you'll actually find the patent for this pen. It's an unscrew cap. Very easy to unscrew. And the barrel tapers very slightly to this grip section right here. Now the threads are a bit rough, but they're not sharp. And then the grip section is just a simple plastic grip section. Now let's talk about that nib. Now this nib is a 14 karat gold nib, and what it says is it says Sheaffer's, then it says 3-25, and underneath that it says Made in USA. Now I was curious as well, what does 3-25 mean? What I found was that 3 indicates the nib size, so this is a number 3 size nib. 25 represents the number of years Sheaffer will cover this nib under its warranty. And at the back you see a very plain yet very reliable feed, works excellent. It's a very nice pen to hold. I usually hold the pen probably where you'd expect it, probably on the grip section. I can hold it right on the threads. However, again, they are a little bit rough. They're not the most pleasant to use if I don't have to, so I don't. Okay, let's do a little bit of measurements. The overall length is just shy of 13.5 centimeters. The top of the grip section to the back of the pen is a little bit over 9.5 centimeters. The cap length is a little bit over 6 centimeters. The cap width is about 1 centimeter. And the barrel width is about 8 millimeters. And lastly, a fully posted pen clocks in at about 13.5 centimeters. So enough about that, let's go ahead and do some writing. Alright, so this pen is not inked up. I'm not going to ink it up. I've got plenty of them inked up already, so I'm just going to dip the pen using Akamon Shocking Blue and do some writing with it. It is a bit scratchy, but it's because I probably haven't written with it for a while, and this paper isn't doing it justice. But this is binder paper, standard binder paper that I'm going to be testing out on just to give a very consistent result of the pens I review on this channel. Alright, let's test the flex. So you can see it's got a little bit of flex in there, not a super flex nib, but it definitely has a little bit of flex to enhance your handwriting. Okay, let's do a little bit of upside down writing. Not the most pleasant feeling in the world, and you can see it's not really doing a very good job of keeping up. Fast writing. Keeps up very well, very nicely. Alright, finally let's go ahead and rub the nib upside down and see if we get any kind of cool effects. Which unfortunately doesn't look like it. This nib is rather flat, so we can't do any cool artistic effects with it. Overall, this is a very good nib. It's on a very good pen, and it's just an overall very good, reliable pen. So, final thoughts, pros and cons. This is an excellent pen. For me personally, I prefer, again, vintage pens, more older pens, pen styles, but these pens I almost always go to if I just need to carry around something more reliably. The other wonderful thing about Sheaffer pens is that they are so readily available, even vintage ones. And with that said, a lot of them are rather affordable. Even if you go to an antique shop or a flea market, you'll almost bound to come across Sheaffers. Some of the later models like the snorkel and the touchdown fillers can get a little bit more complicated in terms of servicing it. But if you go back a few decades and grab a simple lever filler, more likely than not you'll just need to clean out the inside and throw in a sack and you should be fine. Overall, very good pen. I just wish it was a little bit bigger for my taste. So that's going to do it for now. Thank you all very much for watching. Go ahead and leave a like if you liked this video, and go ahead and subscribe. And coming up now is a close-up montage of the pen itself. Again, thank you, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.